to the Working with Schools 101 mini-series. My name is Andrea Hayfele, and I'm a health and physical education curriculum consultant at Ophea. Our vision at Ophea is that all kids in Ontario will value and enjoy the lifelong benefits of healthy, active living. And since 1921, yes, that's over 100 years, we've been supporting the health and learning of all kids in Ontario by working towards making school communities healthier, safer, and happier. A healthy school community involves organizations like yours, our listeners and viewers, and that is why the goal of this mini-series is to enhance the capacity of community organizations to connect and also work with schools. This is episode 2, What's Working? Hearing from Organizations. This episode will be focused on talking with organizations who have experience working with schools. I'm very excited to have Ryan and Daniel with me here today. Welcome, Ryan and Daniel. Thank you for being with me. Ryan, would you like to introduce yourself and share a little bit about your role and how you support and also work with schools?
Yeah, thanks, Andrea. Thanks for the welcome. I'm Ryan Jones, Rugby Development Manager with Rugby Canada. I lead the Grow the Game initiatives across Canada by working with our 10 provincial unions. We support clubs, schools, and community groups in their journey to improve sport experiences for all across Canada using rugby as our tool. Much of my role includes working with schools through our network of rugby development officers and part-time coaches, as well as our volunteer clubs, offering information sessions in classrooms using our rookie rugby program and supporting before and after school programs as well. I previously held development roles with Rugby Manitoba and Rugby Ontario, where I was much more hands-on with my interactions with schools, and I'll speak to some of that later on. So thank you for including me and rugby in this series, and I look forward to sharing some of my experiences working with schools.
Thanks, Ryan. So Daniel, I'm going to pass the mic to you. I was wondering if you can introduce yourself and also share a little bit about your role and how you support and also work with schools.
Yeah, so thank you for having me be a part of this. My name is Daniel Vieira, and I'm the Community Events Manager at Parasport Ontario. My main responsibilities are to coordinate and run Parasport Triad Days, equipment rentals, booths at trade shows, and a lot more. The majority of our Triad Days we do are at schools. This involves bringing Parasport equipment, which is usually sport wheelchairs for wheelchair basketball, roller sledges for sledge hockey, or sitting volleyball equipment for sitting volleyball. We also try to bring a parasport athlete to help run and instruct the sessions. They will present to the students their story to provide some context and lived experience education to the students and get the students involved, which really helps to translate the learning by having them try out and play the sport. The triad events vary based on the individualized school needs, but usually they involve multiple classes throughout the day, rotating through the Parasport Triad session. Students will learn the different foundational skills of the sport and then play a game altogether. We try to bring awareness to students about parasports and people with disabilities with the ultimate goal of increasing participation in parasports and building more inclusive mindsets.
Thanks so much. And I'm very excited to continue this conversation with both yourself and also Ryan. Okay, so we're going to start off with question number 1. Schools may find it beneficial to collaborate with community organizations that can provide students with additional physical activity opportunities before and also after school that are consistent with the health and physical education curriculum. Daniel, we'll start off with you. Can you talk about some successes and also challenges you've had within your organization when working with schools?
Yeah, so I'll start with the successes. One of the major successes we have when working with schools is the value they get out of it. A lot of the schools we work with return year after year to run events with us, as they know it makes for an enjoyable and educational event for their students. On top of that is the added benefit of bringing our parasports ambassadors who are high performance athletes, as I mentioned earlier, in their respective parasport to lead the events. This engages the students a lot more, and they get to see the elite skills that a person with a disability playing each parasport has. It usually leads them asking the athlete a lot of questions and wanting to learn more about the parasport and the athlete themselves. To go over to challenges, the challenge we face is how to make a lasting impact beyond our time at the school. We promote parasports in the different clubs in the area, but the challenge is how do we get students to join those clubs or pass along the information to people they know, potentially someone with a disability, to join these clubs. Another one of these challenges based on that. I was trying to support the teachers to continue to educate the students on parasports and people with disabilities beyond the day or week we are there. We try to help with these challenges by bringing resources such as our Parasport magazine, our Parasport resource postcards to leave with the teachers and the students, as well as we always make it known they can contact our organization at any time with any questions or anything they may have.
So great. I love how, number one, you use the ambassadors who are high performance athletes to support those school communities in real life, to just give them a taste of what these sports can look, sound, and feel like. I also like how you address their challenges in different ways, that you're really using different tactics, using the magazines, using the postcards to really share the information in a different way. And as you know, that can really help pass on the information for those students to share with their families and also caregivers. So thanks so much for sharing that. Ryan, I'll pass it over to you. I was wondering if you can talk a little bit about some successes and also challenges you've had within your organization when working with schools.
Yeah, for sure. Similar challenges to what Daniel shared, but maybe looking at the biggest challenge I think we have is having an understanding of who we can talk to gain access to a school. There are seemingly rare times where the physical education lead in the school board is easy to identify and open to collaboration. But other times there's no detail on who the go-to person is, and at times when you do find somebody, they may not be open to that conversation, or just not sure about the sport, maybe because of the nature of our sport. So to combat that, I believe it's important to be clear about what we're trying to achieve as a sport organization going into the school. I think too often we approach schools with the outcome of recruiting players for club programs or to meet our own targets. Mm-hmm. And it became very clear very quickly that it's not going to get us very far. So we believe in rugby, that our sport can offer a unique opportunity for youth to try a relatively unknown sport to them. And we tie it back to our core values. We also offer resources for teachers through our Rookie Rugby program, and they can use the resources to add to their curriculum as well. When we approach the schools, we ensure that they're aware of what we can offer them, their students and their community, and work to understand what they may need from us. So in the past, just a bit of an experience of mine, I spent a lot of time with the Halton District School Board while I was with Rugby Ontario, and we took this approach. So as I mentioned, Rugby has free online resources for teachers, but also local clubs to support programming and run events. So we approached the team at Halton DSB to share resources, listen to what they may need from us. And within a year, we had teachers attend a rugby-focused professional development session. We sent students into multiple schools, both in their physical education classes and after-school programs, and hosted an elementary school tournament, which was hosted by the local clubs in the area. Since then, the local clubs have continued to work with the schools and the school board to ensure youth continue to get this offering. The club also offers a range of programming that students have signed up for across the summer months. So I'd say, really to wrap it up, the building of the relationships and ensuring that there's a give, not just a take, is really important. And keeping open and honest communication with schools is the most important element of working with them.
Thanks so much. And this definitely also helps with the sustainability of this sport and the programs and activities that you're trying to build in the school communities. I love how you also spoke about how you are aligning the programs that you have at Rugby Canada to ensure that it aligns with the health and physical education curriculum, but you're also supporting the community clubs to ensure that they are also providing quality programming for those students who choose to do this outside of the school day. So thanks so much for sharing that, and yourself also, Daniel, for sharing your experience. Before we go into question number 2, we spoke in episode 1 about how community organizations can provide expertise, skills, materials, and also programs that may not be available through the school or that supplement those that are. I know that when I was working in my school, partnerships and such organizations benefit not only the students, but also the greater community. Ryan, we'll start off with yourself. Can you speak about the value of building relationships with individual schools and also school boards, and perhaps elaborate on some strategies that have worked within your organization?
Yeah, for sure. I think, again, making that connection and building a relationship is the most important aspect of collaborating with schools. Often there could be misconceptions about a sport or a misunderstanding about the intentions of a program, but properly connecting and understanding what a school wants and needs is key. As mentioned previously, finding the right person in the school is challenging at times, and often we'll need to go to individual teachers to gain access to a school setting to provide our programming. So as long as the delivery is strong, the teacher will likely connect you with other teachers and perhaps link you to the lead for the school board. Another opportunity is to find and connect with school board curriculum consultants, as they're connected to multiple schools and are in a position to open some doors, and particularly if the programming that's offered is aligned with what they're delivering.
Thanks so much. I really liked how you mentioned that it's not always the same in different schools and also different school boards, and taking that time to know who that point person is to really ensure that you are sharing the information with the right people, and perhaps even those people can also connect you with other school communities that may show some interest. So Daniel, we're going to pass it over to you. If you can speak a little bit about the value of building relationships with individual schools and also school boards, and also once again sharing some strategies that have also worked within your organization.
Yeah, to build off what Ryan said, I totally agree that building with connections with schools and school boards is the most important aspect. The way we usually go about it is connecting with a teacher. Most of the time, this will be a phys ed teacher at the school, and see what they're looking to get out of our time at the school. Through a collaborative effort between our staff and the school staff, it helps puts on valuable events. We start with individual schools, especially in terms of capacity. We're a smaller organization with only one equipment delivery vehicle. Para sports in general, you need to bring a lot of equipment, so trying to be at multiple schools at the same time can lead to spreading our resources thin and not running the best event. Over time, slowly building relationships with school can show the school boards the value of working with community organizations to build those long-lasting programs there. Also, when you provide a quality experience to one class or teacher, they usually pass on that positive experience to other teachers and other schools, which helps spread through word of mouth naturally as well.
Thanks so much. And I really like what you were saying, start small and do it well within your capacity. I also really liked how you are taking the time as an organization to find out what the individual school communities want, because sometimes what one school community wants may not be the same as what another school community wants. So thanks so much, Ryan and Daniel, for chatting about this one. We're going to head into question number 3 to wrap up this conversation. Daniel, is there anything you'd like to share with community organizations who are currently not working with any schools, however, do want to start their journey in working with school communities?
Yeah, for sure. My main point would be make sure you know your purpose for why you want to work with schools. Make the schools see the true value of what your organization can bring to the table when working together. For us, we always talk about inclusion and showing how sports are for everybody. Community organizations need to know why they want to work with a school and be sure they're translating the purpose to the school representative they're speaking with to see the value. A good start with schools for community organizations, maybe to coordinate efforts with a special day like we do with International Day for Persons with Disabilities. They can find their day on the calendar that a school would want to celebrate, and the schools can learn more about their organization in alignment with that special day.
Thanks so much. And I really like how you mentioned that ensuring that the organization understands what their mission and values are, because sometimes if that's not presented well to me as a teacher, I'm not really sure how you fit into my school programming or also extracurricular programming. I also really liked how you mentioned that special day where you can align what your organization is doing for school communities to help enhance whatever that school is doing for that day. So thanks so much for that. Ryan, is there anything you'd like to share with community organizations who are currently not working with any schools, however, do want to start their journey in working with school communities?
Yeah, for sure. I think, again, agreeing with what Daniel's saying, and it seems to be a bit of a theme and seems simple, but it's important to start small and build the relationships with the school or the board leads. Understand what they want, what do they need, and how can you collaborate with them to achieve a joint outcome. I'd suggest to not approach the schools with a preconceived notion of what you want and be genuine in your ask. If you're seeking to improve the lives of youth through your programming, you'll have something in common with the schools and the leaders within it.
Thanks so much. And I love those two words, having that joint outcome and making sure that what you're doing as an organization is supporting what the schools need within their school community. So thanks so much, Daniel and Ryan, for sharing that. Thank you, Ryan and Daniel, for sharing your organization's journey with working with schools. As you heard, it's great to learn about the benefits of collaborating with school communities, as you, community organizations, can provide opportunities for students to participate in new physical activities and programs, along with applying learning in a community setting. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to check out episode 3, What's Needed, Hearing from Schools.